Hey everyone, fellas, listen up. There's a reason the most magnetic men in the world don't chase. They don't beg, they don't cling, they detach. Not because they don't care, but because they know their worth. And that right there, that's what women are drawn to. Not neediness, not desperation, but a man who stands firm in his power. Confidence is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have, and it doesn't come from how others perceive you. It comes from how you see yourself. Most men make the mistake of believing that they will feel confident once they get validation from a woman. They think that if they look a certain way, achieve a certain status, or get a specific woman's attention, then confidence will follow. But that's not how it works. Confidence isn't granted by external forces. It's built internally. A man who seeks validation from women is operating from a place of insecurity. He's constantly looking for reassurance, needing to be told he's enough. And women can sense that energy instantly. It's in the way he speaks, the way he carries himself, the way he reacts to her responses. If she pulls away, he panics. If she doesn't reply fast enough, he overthinks. He's relying on her to dictate how he feels about himself. And that's a recipe for constant disappointment. On the other hand, a man who has true, unshakable confidence doesn't need external validation. He's secure in who he is, no matter who is or isn't interested in him. His self-worth isn't tied to a woman's response because he already knows his value. He doesn't try to impress. He simply is impressive because he's focused on his own growth, his own purpose, and his own standards for himself. This kind of confidence comes from mastering your own mindset. It's about rewiring the way you think, so that your worth isn't determined by whether a woman is interested in you. It starts with self-respect. Do you hold yourself to a high standard? Do you keep your word to yourself? Confidence grows when you do what you say you're going to do, when you push yourself beyond your limits, when you build a life that you're proud of. That's what makes you walk into a room with certainty. That's what makes your energy undeniable. Women aren't just listening to your words, they're feeling your energy. If you walk into an interaction hoping for approval, they feel that. If you're constantly worried about what they think of you, they sense it. And the moment they realize you're seeking validation, they lose attraction. Why? Because confidence isn't about needing people to like you. It's about knowing that you're already valuable, regardless of who recognizes it. Think about the men who naturally command attention. They don't chase. They don't over-explain. They don't seek permission to be themselves. They walk into a room with certainty because they trust themselves. They know that whether or not a woman is interested in them, they still have purpose, they still have drive, they still have a life that excites them. That level of self-assurance is magnetic. It creates a presence that people want to be around. A man who lacks confidence will always feel the need to prove himself. He will try too hard to impress, overcompensate, and seek validation in ways that push people away. A truly confident man doesn't try to prove anything, he just is. He speaks with certainty, not arrogance. He listens more than he talks. He moves with intention instead of hesitation. He doesn't flinch when things don't go his way, because his confidence isn't shaken by external factors. When you build confidence from within, rejection doesn't faze you. You don't crumble when someone isn't interested. You don't waste time chasing people who don't see your value. Instead, you focus on the things that actually matter. Your mindset, your purpose, your growth. That's what makes you stand out. That's what makes people take notice. And that's why confidence will always be more attractive than neediness. Most men operate from a scarcity mindset without even realizing it. They believe that opportunities, success, and even relationships are limited, which makes them cling tightly to what they have, fearing that if they lose it, they won't find anything better. This mindset leads to desperation, insecurity, and neediness. Three things that instantly repel high-quality women. When a man feels like he has to hold on to a woman at all costs, he starts making choices out of fear instead of confidence. Scarcity makes a man settle. He convinces himself that he has to accept poor treatment, inconsistent behavior, or even outright disrespect because he believes he won't find another woman who is as attractive, as interesting, or as engaging. He overlooks red flags, ignores his own standards, and becomes willing to compromise his values just to keep her around. But that kind of energy isn't attractive. It's weak. A woman can sense when a man is afraid of losing her, and the moment she realizes that he sees her as his only option, the attraction starts to fade. A man with an abundance mindset, on the other hand, never acts out of desperation. He understands that there are countless opportunities, countless people, and countless experiences available to him. He doesn't believe in the one. He knows that attraction isn't about luck, it's about alignment. He knows that if one situation doesn't work out, another will. If one woman isn't interested, there are plenty more who will be. This perspective shifts everything about the way he carries himself. He's not worried about rejection. He's not stressing over what someone thinks of him. He's not obsessing over a single interaction, because he knows that his value isn't determined by one outcome. This is why women are naturally drawn to men who embody abundance. When a man isn't desperate to hold on to her, it signals that he has options. It suggests that he is desirable, confident, and high value. She starts to see him as someone who is in demand, someone who chooses rather than chases. And that shift in dynamic makes her more interested, not less. A man with a scarcity mindset puts a woman on a pedestal. He treats her as if she is the prize, the rare gem that he is lucky to have in his life. But a man with an abundance mindset sees himself as the prize. He understands his worth. He knows that a relationship should be mutually beneficial, not one-sided. He values himself enough to walk away from situations that don't serve him, rather than clinging to them out of fear. The way a man thinks determines how he acts, and how he acts determines how people respond to him. If he believes he has limited options, he will act in ways that reinforce that belief. He will be hesitant, anxious, and overly accommodating. But if he believes he has an abundance of opportunities, he will move with certainty, he will be selective, he will have standards, and that kind of confidence creates attraction effortlessly. The key to shifting from scarcity to abundance is internal work. It's about rewiring the way you see yourself and the world around you. It starts with recognizing that your worth isn't determined by external validation, and that opportunities are only limited if you believe they are. The moment you start operating from a place of abundance, you stop tolerating things that drain you. You stop trying to force connections. You stop fearing loss, because you know that something better is always around the corner. Women feel this energy, they respect it, and most importantly, they are drawn to it in ways that can't be faked. Emotional control is one of the most powerful traits a man can develop. It's the ability to remain calm, composed, and unshaken, regardless of what's happening around him. Most men don't realize how much their emotions dictate their actions. They react impulsively, letting frustration, fear, or excitement control their decisions. But the men who stand out, the ones who naturally command respect and attraction, are the ones who have mastered control over their emotions instead of being controlled by them. A man who lacks emotional control is easy to manipulate. If a woman senses that she can push his buttons, she will lose respect for him. When he gets overly reactive, whether it's anger, jealousy, or desperation, it shows that he is ruled by emotions rather than logic. This kind of behavior creates instability, and instability is deeply unattractive. A woman wants to feel safe with a man, and safety isn't just physical, it's emotional. If she can't trust him to stay composed under pressure, she won't see him as a strong, reliable partner. One of the biggest mistakes men make is overreacting when things don't go their way. If a woman pulls away, they panic. If she doesn't text back right away, they overthink. If she tests them, they either lash out in frustration or become overly eager to prove themselves. All of this signals weakness. A man with true emotional control doesn't react impulsively. He understands that emotions are temporary, and he chooses his actions based on long-term thinking, not short-term feelings. Emotional control also plays a major role in how a man handles rejection. A man who hasn't mastered this will take rejection personally. He will let it shake his confidence, make him bitter, or cause him to spiral into self-doubt. But a man who has emotional discipline doesn't let rejection define him. He sees it as neutral information, not as an attack on his worth. This mindset allows him to move forward with confidence, rather than wasting time dwelling on what didn't work out. Women test men all the time, whether consciously or unconsciously. They do this to see how secure a man really is. A man who is emotionally reactive will fail these tests, because he will get defensive, angry, or desperate for reassurance. But a man with emotional control remains unfazed. If she tries to make him jealous, he doesn't take the bait. If she throws an attitude to see how he'll respond, he stays calm. If she pulls away, he doesn't chase. This kind of stability creates a powerful sense of respect and attraction. When a man can control his emotions, he controls the frame of every interaction. He dictates the energy instead of being influenced by it. People naturally gravitate toward those who remain composed under pressure because they provide a sense of security. This is why leaders, athletes, and highly successful men exude an undeniable presence. They don't let the highs make them arrogant or the lows make them desperate. They move with a sense of inner peace that can't be shaken by external circumstances. Developing emotional control isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about recognizing them, understanding them, and choosing the best response rather than reacting impulsively. It's about being aware of triggers and breaking the cycle of immediate emotional reactions. This requires self-awareness, discipline, and patience. It's the difference between a man who is driven by temporary feelings and a man who is guided by long-term vision. Women recognize this instantly. They can feel when a man is emotionally steady, and that steadiness creates an attraction that goes beyond words. A man who is driven by purpose carries an energy that is impossible to ignore. He moves differently, speaks with certainty, and commands respect without demanding it. His focus is on something bigger than just relationships or validation from others. He has goals, ambitions, and a vision that fuels his actions every single day. This kind of man doesn't waste time chasing approval because he is too busy chasing his own greatness. Women are naturally drawn to this energy because it signals strength, direction, and an unwavering sense of self. A man without purpose, on the other hand, lacks direction. He drifts from one thing to another, hoping that external factors will bring him fulfillment. He seeks entertainment, distractions, or relationships to fill a void that only purpose can truly satisfy. This is why so many men find themselves frustrated in their dating lives. They believe that once they get a woman, they will finally feel complete, but that's backward thinking. A man must build himself first. He must become someone who is already fulfilled before he ever brings another person into his world. Women can instantly sense when a man lacks purpose. It's in his energy, his conversations, and the way he carries himself. He has no real passion for anything, no deep motivation that pushes him forward. He may say all the right things, but if he is aimless in life, it will show. And when a woman realizes that a man has no greater mission, she begins to lose attraction. A woman does not want to be a man's purpose. She wants to join a man who is already moving towards something greater. A purpose-driven man does not prioritize relationships over his mission. He doesn't rearrange his entire life just to accommodate someone else. He is willing to make time for the right person, but he never abandons his goals in the process. This balance is what makes him so attractive. He is not looking for a woman to complete him. He is already complete. His fulfillment comes from his work, his passion, his growth. And because of that, he never exudes desperation. He doesn't need a relationship to feel valuable. And that confidence makes him stand out. When a man is locked in on his purpose, he naturally carries a sense of discipline and self-respect. He wakes up every day with an internal drive to get better, to build, to achieve. He is not distracted by meaningless drama or temporary highs because his mind is focused on something far more important. This discipline creates a magnetic pull. People respect a man who knows where he's going, who stays committed to his vision, and who refuses to be thrown off track by fleeting emotions or external validation. A man without purpose, however, becomes easily swayed by the opinions of others. He changes his direction based on what people think of him. He lets rejection break him, lets obstacles discourage him, and lets setbacks define him. But a man who is purpose-driven remains steady. He doesn't let failure shake him because his mission is bigger than any single setback. He keeps moving forward, keeps improving, and keeps pushing toward his goals no matter what. Women find this level of commitment and ambition irresistible because it signals security and leadership. A man with purpose doesn't just go with the flow, he creates the flow. He sets the pace, makes decisions with confidence, and moves through life with intention. This presence is undeniable. It separates him from the men who seek validation and approval. He doesn't need to prove himself because his actions speak louder than any words ever could. Mystery is one of the most powerful tools in attraction. When a man is fully detached from seeking validation and external approval, he naturally creates an aura of intrigue. Women are drawn to what they don't fully understand, to what feels just out of reach. A man who is always available, always predictable, and always trying to prove himself loses that sense of mystery. But a man who is focused on his own life, his own goals, and his own growth without constantly seeking attention naturally becomes more interesting. Most men give away their entire personality too soon. They overshare, over-explain, and try too hard to make a woman like them. This ruins the sense of curiosity that fuels attraction. The unknown is what creates interest. It's what keeps people thinking, keeps them wanting more. When a man is detached, he doesn't feel the need to constantly explain himself or seek approval. He allows people to wonder about him, to be curious about what he's thinking and what he's about. Mystery is not about playing games or being distant for no reason. It's about maintaining a sense of independence. When a man has his own life, his own purpose, and his own internal fulfillment, he doesn't feel the need to chase or impress. He naturally holds back certain things, not because he's being secretive, but because he understands that not everything needs to be given away at once. This restraint creates intrigue. It makes a woman want to learn more, to dig deeper, to earn more access to who he is. A man who is overly eager to please eliminates all mystery. He answers every text immediately, he shares everything about himself too soon, and he constantly seeks reassurance. This makes him predictable, and predictability kills attraction. When a man is fully detached from needing a specific outcome, he doesn't feel the urge to prove anything. He lets interactions unfold naturally. He gives just enough to keep things interesting, but he doesn't lay everything on the table right away. This balance keeps a woman engaged. It makes her think about him even when he's not around. Women are emotional and intuitive. They don't just respond to words, they respond to feelings. When a man is detached and mysterious, he creates an emotional experience. He triggers curiosity, excitement, and anticipation. She starts to wonder what he's doing when he's not around. She starts to question what he's thinking. This dynamic makes interactions more engaging and keeps attraction strong. A man who has mastered detachment never forces anything. He never tries to convince anyone to like him. He simply exists in his own energy, and that presence alone is enough to draw people in. Another aspect of mystery is unpredictability. When a man is detached, he doesn't fall into a routine of seeking validation. He does things on his own time, in his own way, without worrying about whether it will make someone like him more. This unpredictability keeps attraction alive. It keeps things exciting. People lose interest in what is too familiar, too expected. When a man operates from a place of detachment, he remains interesting because he never becomes overly available or desperate for attention. Being mysterious doesn't mean being cold or unapproachable. It means having depth. It means not being an open book to just anyone. It means maintaining a sense of self that isn't easily given away. When a man embodies this, people notice. Women notice. They feel drawn in by the sense that there's more to discover, more to understand, and that curiosity is what fuels lasting attraction. Confidence is the foundation of attraction. It's not about arrogance or acting superior. It's about having an unshakable belief in yourself. Women are naturally drawn to men who carry themselves with certainty, who don't second-guess their actions, and who move through life with conviction. Confidence is not something that can be faked for long. It's not about using the right words or pretending to be self-assured. It's an energy, a presence, a way of being that people can feel the moment a man walks into a room. A man who lacks confidence looks for external validation. He constantly needs reassurance that he is good enough, interesting enough, or attractive enough. This energy repels women because it places the burden of his self-worth onto them. No one wants to feel responsible for another person's confidence, but a man who is genuinely confident doesn't need validation from anyone. He knows his value, with or without external approval. This creates a sense of security that women find irresistible. Confidence is built through experience, through overcoming challenges, through pushing past fear and doubt. It's not something that magically appears. It's something that is developed through action. A man who takes risks, who challenges himself, who steps outside of his comfort zone, naturally becomes more confident. He has proof that he can handle adversity. He knows that no setback can break him. This inner strength radiates in everything he does. Women test men all the time, sometimes without even realizing it. They push buttons, create challenges, or throw out small comments just to see how a man will respond. A man who lacks confidence will become defensive, insecure, or overly reactive. But a man who is truly confident remains unshaken. He doesn't feel the need to prove himself. He doesn't take things personally. He knows that his worth isn't determined by any single interaction. This ability to stay composed under pressure is one of the most attractive traits a man can have. Confidence is also about how a man carries himself. It's in his posture, his eye contact, his tone of voice. A man who slouches, avoids eye contact, or speaks with hesitation signals insecurity. But a man who stands tall, maintains strong eye contact, and speaks with certainty, communicates confidence without saying a word. Women are highly intuitive. They pick up on these subtle cues instantly. The way a man presents himself tells them everything they need to know about how he sees himself. A confident man also sets standards for himself. He doesn't tolerate disrespect, he doesn't chase people who don't value him, and he doesn't settle for less than what he deserves. He knows that his time and energy are valuable, and he acts accordingly. This self-respect makes others respect him as well. When a man moves with confidence, people take notice. They listen when he speaks, they value his presence, and they respond to him differently. Confidence isn't about always knowing the right thing to say or never feeling nervous. It's about how a man handles those moments. It's about trusting himself enough to navigate any situation, even if he doesn't have all the answers. It's about embracing uncertainty with a sense of assurance rather than fear. Women are drawn to men who make them feel secure, and nothing provides security like a man who fully believes in himself